Okay, it's Spinnaker time. So we've got a few things we need to do here, and I'll run through them very quickly. This might not work, but this is what we're going to do. You may just be able to see the block at the top there, that's the jib block. Now because the jib flies quite low compared to that block, and because the block is as high as it will go, the only options we've got are to fly the Spinnaker from the gaff, which I'm not happy about because of the forces on the gaff and the twisting it might have on the gaff, or we replace that pulley and put a double pulley in. So that's actually what I've gone and done. Let's have a look. These are the Spinnaker sheets that will go on the clue and the tack. This is the Spinnaker Halyard. So let's put those there. There's my double block, and I bought this Barton one because it's apparently quite it's got enough force, 260 kilos, which is supposedly a bit better than the one I've got on there. So there's my double block. Some lights in there for some reason. Here's all the clips that I'm going to use. I haven't decided whether I'm going to use that style or this style yet. And then we've got a little one of these clam cleats or cam cleats, whatever they're called, that we could probably tie the halyard off under the thwart, like we've got the little this blue line under the thwart, so we can release the Spinnaker really quickly if we need to. So this is the plan. We're going to bring the mast down, we're going to replace that block at the top, we're then going to re-thread the jib halyard and this new halyard for the Spinnaker. Now I don't know if I've got this length right, but there might be enough length in this to replace the jib halyard, which is looking a little bit old and dated, and might also help us get these shrouds a bit tighter as well. But that's another story. We'll see if we've got room for that. We'll rehoist the mast, and then we'll hoist the Spinnaker just to size it, see where it needs to go, see where the sheets need to go, and then we'll move on to the sheets. The only problem we've got with the sheets is where do they run? So, you know, are we going to allow them just to flop about here, a bit like, I mean, the jib sheets do, or do we want to have a little something that helps them run along? So I've actually tied the gaff to the mast, so I've actually released the gaff fully and it's holding fine like that. It's not going to come down, but if I need it to come through, it will. There we go, that's the mast down. Right, here's the top of the mast. Did notice it's got a little block here. Don't know what that's for. But while we're here, we'll have a quick look at the shrouds. They're in fairly good nick. Probably a bit stretched. And this is the block we're going to replace. See, it's a similar size, looks like a similar strength. We'll have to see. Hopefully it'll go up here. Or actually on the bottom of there, yeah, and it'll be roughly the same height. So let's do that now. Get this shackle undone. So I'm hoping it's a little bit higher than it was, but I think that'll be fine because it tends to be out here. And now we've got to replace or run the jib sheet out of there and through this block. So here's the end of the jib sheet. I don't think there's a preference which one. I'm going to put this one over the slightly more central block. Just take up some of the slack Just make sure that is not tangled. You can see the jib sheets running right. It should go the other way round actually. So it should run up the pole and come out the front. Oh, like that, look. That's it. No, so I've got to thread it the other way round. So instead of this way, because this is going to the bottom of the mast, it needs to be front down to the back, because the top of the head of the sail will come up here. So let's just feed that through and show you what I mean. Spinnaker Halyard. So we've got to also make sure this, now we have to make sure this one comes the right way. So this is the one, so this goes like this. So the Spinnaker Halyard needs to come from the back and to the front, or the head of the sail there will be this. So to the end of this we're going to attach a shackle. Now I'm going to use these shackles with the swivel, partly because the rest of the boat's got these on, and partly, even actually the head of the jib had one of these originally, but partly because I think the sail swivels a little bit, I think these will be better served for the sail. And also the how-to videos I've been watching have got these kind of clips as well. Shackle attached. I've done that with a round 10 2/2 hitches, and that'll do for now. We'll be able to get to this anyway when, you know, because we're going to store this at the bottom of the sail, so if it comes off or whatever, we'll be able to deal with it. So that'll do for now. Next job is to get the mast back up. So you can see the pulley there. I'm just going to give that a pull here on the jib. It's a little bit close to the mast. We might have to put a little wire in or something of that nature to get it a little bit further away. But it is working, doing its job. And we have a Spinnaker Halyard. So the Spinnaker Halyard, the end of this will go on the head of the sail, but while we're not using Spinnaker, we need to stow it properly somewhere nice and safe. So that'll do just there. You know, it will come off, but it'll do for that. A lot of people stow theirs down, you know. Oh, let's get it the right side. A lot of people will stow it here, but I'm not so sure. Let's try it. Will it go in there? Well, it will, but it might. I'm not sure if I like that. Oh, it does actually work there. It won't. And then this side would be your halyard. So it does work if you keep it tight, but I don't like anything that potentially can hit the sail and wear it out. So, you know, I've seen the Spinnaker Halyard also stowed, you know, down here. One little extra bonus benefit is, let's just hook it on here for a minute. Actually, I can just hook it on there. When you're at anchor, we actually have an extra line now, which could serve as our anchor ball line as well. Okay, schoolboy error here. We live and learn. I've got no knot in the end of the halyard. This would be the end where you pull. And of course, it's just come out. It's just pulled the whole rope out. So I'm going to unfortunately have to lower the mast to get this line or the halyard back in. However, that's also taught me that even with a knot, this could end up right at the top of the mast, couldn't it? And with no way to bring it down. So I'm learning now why on the halyard you have a continuous line. That's interesting, isn't it? But if we don't have a continuous line, what we've got to do is feed this through something or somewhere where it will get trapped. So it's no good just putting it around here. If you look at this here, it's no good just putting it through here. If we have a clam cleat, then we could put it would thread through that clam cleat. Let's go get that. So here's the cam cleat, or I think it's cam cleat. If you put it through here and you tie it off, and that would go under here or the other side, just like this maybe. Got to be careful of the electronics that we're going to have here. Then obviously that wouldn't go through anyway, and then you just got to make sure you've got a decent enough knot. I mean, let's just try a figure 8. Figure 8 not so great, but with this sort of Dyneema polyestery stuff, kind of stuff, they have a tendency to come unstuck. Oh, okay, if this was screwed in, that wouldn't happen. Let's just do that. Yeah, so I think that would be fine. It wouldn't have happened if it was screwed down. It's just loose. So that would work, but we could also feed it through, instead of feeding it under here, we could try and feed it through here. Will it work though? Because there's already a line here and there is some traffic. You know what, that does, I think that works for me. We can try it. If something chafes, it will be this blue line that goes, which isn't the end of the world. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to undo all of this now and get the mast down and get that rethreaded in that pulley at the top. I've recut it, so now look, you can see we can tie it off at the bottom here, and we've got ample left, and this will be the longest line you'll ever need. And we can see how that works, and then now I know I can clip this off anywhere I need to. This is knotted and going through here. I think we'll work out where that cam cleat needs to go, because I've already got one under here. I don't know if you can see, we've already got one under here for this little line. I never know what this is called, that fits to the clew of the sail. To have another one might be a bit overkill there, I don't know, but for now we're doing quite okay just tying that up here. So we'll see how we get on today. We don't have to finish everything today. Right, slot that in. So if you imagine you're sailing along, we wouldn't have the anchor in, but probably have this nose pin in, because it will serve as a brilliant place to hook the Spinnaker bag onto. The other side of the bag, I was hoping to connect to this little eye, which is the towing eye, but it's a little bit further down. I thought it was up here for some reason. So we need something that can just hook the bottom of the bag down there, and for now, well, it's not ideal, is it? But we're going to need that hook to be down here, and maybe on a piece of string, just so it holds the bag like this. So I'm trying to do this one-handed, so when you're actually hoisting the sail, the bag will stay down here, and that allows it to be emptied much better. Actually, I've just found this little tiny small elastic. It will probably do the job for now, but that's the general idea. Don't want to lose this clip. We'll be okay there. So let's attach the halyard to the head of the sail. and this is how we would actually hoist the sail anyway. We need to make sure we're not tangled. The jib would normally be furled, and then we need to come to this side. We'll do this one because I'm pretty sure these patches were at the head of the sail. So that goes onto the head. And now let's see what happens when we try and hoist it. Obviously be aware that the clue and the tack won't be attached, and we might have the sail completely the wrong way. Okay, we have got it the wrong way. So let's try that again. Let's double oh, hang on. Right. Okay, still wrong. Trying not to get the sail wet, but failing miserably. It's actually the blue that is the head of the sail. I have to think of a little code for that blue head. Yeah, 4 letters in blue. If anyone's got any better suggestion, let me know. There we go, that'll do for now. I'm just going to tie it off on this cleat for now, where roughly I think it should be. we get the general idea. So I've left about 2 meters at the full extent, and I'm going to chop this there, and that will be our halyard. Let's just melt the end of that quickly. You can see how little breeze there is today. You normally can't melt anything in just in the open like this. Next job is to get the sheets in. So these are what you'd be, like the jib sheets. These are going to be the tack and the clue sheet of the Spinnaker, and obviously they change depending on what tack you're on. So we've got this red line for the Spinnaker sheets. This halyard, by the way, is spare, so I'm hoping we've got enough that we might be able to replace the jib halyard with that, but let's move that out of the way for now. So the first thing we've got to do is we'll tie one of these on and measure it up, and then we'll do the same with the other side and measure that up, and then I think we'll see where we go from there. I've done a bowline on this, good old bowline, but you could use, I don't know which knot you're supposed to use, we'll work that out at a later date, but a bowline will do us for now. And this side, let's make sure we get this right, should come down either the luff or the leech of the sail. So red is on the starboard, which is obviously easy to remember. I don't know why the other side of the sail's green, because then you'd match the buoyage, wouldn't it? But that's too easy. So let's hoist the sail again. I'm hoping we get clearance, from the jib. That's the main thing here. Right, and then I'm just gonna, we said about there, and then we can cleat that off there for now. Right, it's gonna be a little bit difficult, isn't it? Actually I've got it the wrong way around. This is actually gonna go on the port side, so it's not a big deal. We've just got to move the line over there. And then we're going to measure it up. And it has to come around the outside. Everything's on the outside of the jib. There we go. Obviously we would have a little bit more to play with. Now I did buy I did buy a lot of extra line here. Now, from what I've seen, there are two ways of doing this. And I've seen people use it in two different ways. First way, which is a very dinghy way, is you run the line all the way to the back, and almost to the back of the boat, where you will have a pulley or a block, and then you bring it forward and cleat it off somewhere. Or you can literally cleat it off manually from here, from about there, and you could actually even put one of those on the gunnel. In fact, if you have that there, maybe, so it'd probably be that way, wouldn't it? Is that right? You know, then it's out the way of where you sit. Would also serve as a really good fender point as well, actually. So yeah, so we could put those there. What I'll do, I think, is measure off enough line so we know we can get to the back and all the way back to, say, here with a little bit. So the first job is to sort of get this out to roughly where you would expect it to be billowing out. So let's go a bit too far, but maybe like that. So, you know, there you go. We can sort of measure it from there. Just make sure. I don't want it to go in the water as much as it needs to. And then we'll run it all the way back. Something like that. And then we'll run it forward. Why is that tangled up? For some reason. There we go. To the cleat maybe here, and then we'll just do a little bit of extra, so why not? Now I'm just going to mark that film. I'm not going to cut it just in case, so just mark it with a bit of tape or something. So actually I just measured the rope, and it's about a metre off half the length, so I've actually measured it quite well. So because it's so close, all I'm going to do is, as you can see here, get the two ends of the line. So I've actually done a bow line and put another clip on for the other side of the sail. I'm just going to put those together and then measure. So I'm just going to measure the sail like this and cut it in half. Some people would leave these lines to sort of run all around a boat, and on the mirror I think it's a continuous line, but I don't like that. I just don't like it. And then there's the loop, that's the end. So I'm going to chop that and then make both sides of that line good. And there we go, that'll do us. And these lines, yeah, so these should be perfect for this sail. And I'm hoping my cleats, which I haven't actually tested yet, will fit these. These should be up to 8mm. Yeah, they fit nicely. I think they're 6mm, these are 6mm in width. So here's the other shackle for the other side of the sail, the clew stroke tack. There we go. And then this line will go along the starboard bow of the ship, of the boat. I was just thinking of the song, the Star Trek song. There's Klingons on the starboard bow, starboard bow. I always think of that when I say starboard bow. There we go. Now obviously the wind, the boat's pointing into the wind, so we're not, you know, gonna have any joy with that. But we have now got two, well, we have now effectively got a Spinnaker hoisted on the boat. The other thing I've got today is the Spinnaker pole. So these are the ends that I've done. I've just slipped them over the tops. And then this one, we just need to get it screwed in. So we need to drill a little hole. Just going to push it away from the end just slightly. We already tested it on the other, you know, the bit of scrap wood from this pole. There we go. So that's one end done. So there it is, finished. I've actually put a little bit of line on this side so you can pull that open, if you can see that. So this, you can see how it's easier to clip onto there from a distance. And then probably needs to just be tied off somewhere, so because there's no good it falling down like that. And then this side I think would be the side that clips to the side here. It should be. It's a tickle. It's like 10 centimeters more than the J value of the boat. So that's that done, and that will actually stow in here quite nicely. So let's just say we've got the mainsail is out this way, so the wind is coming from our starboard quarter. So I'll be looking over my right shoulder if I'm facing forward now. So the Spinnaker pole goes the opposite side. So what you would do is you would clip that on here. I'm not sure on this small boat whether this little line is actually any use already. And then what you would do is you would set this. So for now I'm just going to put it over here. It's not going to bend around this very well, just going to at all well, but just to get it on there. And then the other thing you then need to do is put two lines on the Spinnaker pole. So you need an up haul and a down haul, and that's to keep the Spinnaker pole level. Now you can see, look, that whilst you're hoisting, the pole's just going to dangle, so that's not ideal. Yeah, that's not ideal at all. So what we're gonna just do is keep it connected there to work out the height that the Spinnaker bracket needs to be on the mast, and just see if we can maybe reuse this point here for now, and then yeah, we'll try and see if we can get that working. I can't do any more now on the Spinnaker, so at this point in time the Spinnaker project is over, other than a test which we will be doing very soon.